Hello educators, PC here to tell you about some updates to the live classroom. Specifically, we're going to talk about how you can schedule your live classes, which will make it easier for students to find them and join them. Some tools that will help you to monitor your live classrooms. And we'll be talking about the new Live Class Presenter view that puts the teacher in the center of the video panel and how you can use the presenter view to facilitate in-class discussions. The first thing to note is that when you log in, if you have students in a live class waiting, you'll see a notice on your dashboard that there are students waiting to join the live class. In this case, we have a class named Live Class Test-CTS, and we have students waiting in that. If the class goes live, the students will see an indication that the class is live with a button to join it. If you would like to have a notice on the student dashboard before the class goes live, you can schedule a live class by clicking the Schedule a Live Class icon at the upper right. Simply pick your name, pick the name of the class that you would like to schedule, and pick a date and time. By default, it's today at 1 hour ahead of the current time. Enter a duration, and then hit Save. The class will automatically appear on your dashboard. You can see that it's scheduled at 4 p.m. If you've made a mistake, you can click the arrow next to Join and remove it from the schedule, or you can edit the schedule. Now, allow me to quickly show you the screen from the student's perspective. They will see that science is scheduled at 4 p.m. and they can press the Join button to get into the class. Note that a student will not see classes that have other students waiting unless that class has been scheduled. So let's get into our live classroom. If it appears on your dashboard, you can click Start or Join, and if it does not, you could expand the class on the left and go into the live classroom by clicking the live class link. When you go into a class that's not running, you'll be prompted to start the class. If you would like to use video, click Enable Video. You'll have an option for whether you as the teacher should have your camera on and your mic, just your mic, or neither your camera and your mic, and whether the students should be allowed to turn on their camera and their mic, or just their mic, or neither. You'll also have a number of options for configuration, but it's recommended that you just select the default. Pressing Start Class will open up a selection for you and for all the students to pick your video. You need to pick your camera, your audio, and your microphone. Once you connect, you'll go into what's called Presenter View. You will see the picture of yourself, the teacher, in the middle, with a green border to indicate that you're currently being presented. The students will all join at the bottom in red to indicate that they are muted and that they are not presented. Before we talk about Presenter View, I'd like to go over a few control settings. At the top, you have two toolbars, one that determines the settings for the students and one that determines your settings. Every student in the class sees this second toolbar with their settings, but only the teacher sees the top toolbar. The first setting controls whether students are allowed to turn on their camera and their mic, audio and video, their microphone only, or neither. If you're having trouble due to network bandwidth, it might be best to switch to audio only, as that uses less bandwidth than the camera and the microphone. The next controls what students can see. You can allow them to see all other students in the class, or only the presenter. If it switches to presenter only, they will only see themselves and whoever is in this big box in the center. Note that you as the teacher will always see all students below. Next, you have microphone control. You can mute everybody's microphone and you can turn everybody's microphone on. You can also determine whether they can turn their microphones on. If the setting is set to students can control mics, students are able to turn their microphones on and off. Otherwise, if it's set to teacher controls mic, students can turn their microphone off, but only the teacher can turn it on. The microphone is turned on by mousing over the student and then clicking mute and unmute. Before we show you how to use the presenter controls, I'd like to show you the screen from the perspective of a student. I'm sliding in a screen of myself logged in as a student. You'll notice that the student only has one menu bar. The first option is the gear option, which everybody sees, and it allows you to switch which camera you're using, which microphone, and which set of speakers. If a student is having a problem with the camera, it might be best to try switching the camera and switching back. The next icon will turn the camera on or off, and it will turn the microphone on or off. Next we have audio and video. Even though the teacher is allowing students to broadcast audio and video, students can switch the control so that they receive audio only. If a student is having problems with their network connection, it may be advisable to tell them to switch to audio only. That uses less bandwidth, and it may solve some of the network problems. They can switch it back to audio and video at any time, and it will reconnect and display all the videos. Next is the view. The student can switch the view from the whole class to the presenter only, even though you're allowing them to view the whole class. Again, if there's network bandwidth issues, this is a good way to reduce the bandwidth and to focus on the important items, which is the teacher's presentation. Everyone also has the ability to change their layout. The default is the presenter mode, which puts the presenters very large and in the middle of the screen, and it puts everyone else down below. You can also go to a large grid, which will have up to 9 spots, or a small grid, which will only have 4 spots. You can use the arrow keys to move through and to see additional people. Now, back to the presenter mode. You as the teacher are by default presented and in the middle. If you would like to present another student, you can mouse over and click Present, and they will be moved up to the presenter bar for you and for all students. In this case, we're presenting Michael. Michael, how's your day going?
It's great.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you for helping with this demo. Teachers everywhere are going to be very grateful. All right. If you'd like to have a conversation, you can present additional people. Like, we could present Bryce here, who's there laughing at Michael. Bryce, how was your day?
Going pretty good right now.
It's going pretty good. All right. You can actually have up to 4 presenters in the main screen at a time. Evan, how we doing?
Good, great. I'm not left out anymore.
Okay. All right. So Evan's now part of the conversation. When you unpresent somebody, they will be automatically muted. Although, if you're allowing it, they can unmute themselves. If you present a 5th person, the person who is presented first will be removed so that no more than 4 are presented. How are we doing today, Pat?
Doing excellent.
Excellent.
Ready to learn.
All right, ready to learn. Good job. Okay. If you would like to have less students presented, you can switch the number that appear in the presenter by switching the 4 on down to 3 on or 2 on. 2 on will only allow 2 people to be presented. When you present a 3rd person, the person that you most recently presented is off. A teacher by default is never unpresented, but you can unpresent yourself, and then at that point you could present 2 students. Would you guys like to talk about something?
Bryce, I think we're going to elect a new president soon.
Yeah. Do you have any opinions?
Okay. If the conversation takes a nasty turn, like into politics, for example, you can quickly unpresent your students, and that will mute them. You will have to represent yourself when the time comes. When you launch a new activity by clicking the plus button and then, say, for example, opening a whiteboard, everyone will be switched so that they appear in the area at the bottom of the screen. The presenters will come first. And you can still present people and move them to the beginning, but they will not be moved around on the screen other than where they are. When a student raises his hand, he will come to the front of the list. You'll notice Pat just raised his hand and he moved to the front of the list. This can be useful when you have a lot of kids in the class and some of the kids are off the screen. When you ask a question, they come to the front and then you can present them and talk about their question. Notice that when they're presented, their hand automatically goes down. You can also present students by clicking the student list on the left and then clicking the green Present button to present students. There's Mike again. Mike, still having a good day?
Yeah, I'm having a fantastic day.
Okay, wonderful. That's great to hear. All right. So in a large class, it might be more helpful to use the student list on the left to present students and unpresent them. Note that you can also mute and unmute microphones. And you can mute all microphones at the top by clicking the Mute All. Mute All appears on the student list it appears on the top nav bar, and it also appears on the bottom nav bar when you're presenting another screen or sharing your screen. And speaking of sharing your screen, when you do go to share your screen, it will switch to the video footer, and video resolutions will be downgraded so that network bandwidth is not overloaded. Once you stop sharing, everyone's bandwidth will be restored and their videos will appear at a higher quality. For additional information on the options that are available in the live classroom, please refer to the tutorial that talks about live class activities. When you're done with your class, you can hit end or exit, and you should remember to lock the class. This will shut down the video system and kick everyone out. So before we go today, let's unmute everyone. And thank you everyone for coming. The next class is posted on your dashboard. It's at 4 p.m. and it's Math Grade 3. You guys should do great. Thank you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email support@digitalacademy.org. And you can view additional videos at our YouTube channel, https://bit.ly/DA channel. And it is case sensitive, so you do need to capitalize the D, the A, and the C. See you soon.